Well, I'll try another design, sort of a rough river with some rough barn type buildings with this 0.5 derwentgraphic.co.uk. I got this from a local art shop. It was about £3.45. You can buy them individually about that price on eBay. Well, I looked them up, but they're doing a pack of 3. I don't know if they're exactly the same as this, but with different size nibs. This is a 0.5, and then you could get I think a 0.8 and a 0.1 for the slightly thicker lines. But I'll go and experiment with these. They're about £6 for the 3 with postage. So I haven't used a pen like this since I was a draftsman many years ago in a previous life. They were slightly different than these, but anyway, they're nice to use. It makes a change from using the pens, the dip pens. So I'm just going to do a sort of a bit of a bang. So this is the problem with working at an angle. The ink, when we're working at 45 degrees, the ink is only half sort of flowing down. So I'm going to put in a bit of a line across here, and we can we'll they've got a nib that presses in and it helps the ink flow. Oh, that's a bit better. Right, we'll have some trees coming up here, and over here on the other side we'll put in a bit of a barn. I'll put a bit of a gable here. Just for some planking along here. And then a bit of a tree coming up here. All very sketchy. Don't want any portraits of anything. And then just have fun with this sort of painting. Okay, so something like that. Okay. Well, that's a very rough sort of drawing. I'll keep these pens flat. That's what they recommend. And I'm going to use the hake, but I want to dry this first, so just mute your sound. I just want to make sure this is dry as I can get it. Now that drawing doesn't get any simpler than that, does it? So Swig of tea. I've got my watercolours ready in the bag, in the Ziploc bag. I might use the this lovely mop, but I'll wet the paper here and there, more or less all over. This is Fabriano, £130. Okay, I'll go onto this mop now. Right, give me paints. So they're Cotman Student Watercolours, 21mm tubes, big tubes, so you don't mind using. They're cheap and you don't mind using a lot of them. Squeeze out on this little food display tray. So let's put in a bit of blue. Put that in there. And we'll put in a bit of yellow raw sienna. I'll put a touch of red in there. And we'll put some cloud in there. Bit of light red, bit of blue. Just a sort of cloudy front coming up here. And we'll put a bit up the top here. Keep this movement in the sky going. Right, put a bit of that sienna. Right, not quite sure about that. This is the Fabriano, it's £130 weight. It's not the surface of the Buckingford £140 or the Saunders £200. This is a much cheaper paper. It's great for sketching, so I'm not going to criticise it because I like using it. But it's great with the height, right? I'm just trying to show a simple way of painting, and I'm going to put in a bit of a background, just a bit of Payne's grey, I think. First touch of blue. And come over here. Now let's put a bit of sienna. I've got some new raw burnt sienna in there, and it's just a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit wet. We'll detail the banks of this. I'm just wondering if I should put some bit of dry stuff over that, bit of heavier cloud, because that doesn't really. I don't like the shape of it, so I'll just. Right, we'll let that go. That's going to be covered up largely. So let's do some of this here. So let's bit of green in there. So blue, black, burnt sienna. I'll go over that, when that's dry I'll go over that again. But I just want to put some of this in here. The thing about this type of brush is, for me anyway, is to just attack, go for it. We'll just keep this as part of the bank here, I think. Having said that, I haven't done it, have I? So we'll get this dark. Right, let's put a bit of detail in the background now. So we're going to use blue, grey, blue and Payne's grey, with a bit of on the blue side. So I just want a bit of try not to make these things symmetrical. And put a bit darker stuff along the horizon here, just to show a bit of shadow. Now I'm sort of making all this up as I'm going along here, but we can detail into that. Love wintry, we're coming into winter now, or autumn anyway, late autumn. Right, while that's drying off, I'm going to just get some grey, bluey. This is really shadow this side. Right, we'll have a bit of a umbery roof, a bit of black in that, or let's say Payne's grey. So have a bit of sienna in there. Right, so gets that to colour. Come across here. Don't know if it goes over the edge like I did there. That's all part of the fun. Right, just re-clip the paper. I'm enjoying this mop. It's a beautiful brush. I bought it in France many years ago for about £25 then. They're not cheap, these squirrels. This is, I think, it's Isabi squirrel. It's probably, I wish I bought the ones just the one size down. But anyway, I'm going to paint this tree here. I'm going to put in some, well, we'll have some greeny, umbery, autumny, warm colours. Oh God, I've got to put something in there. A bit of shadow in that. Bit of umber, bit of grey, bit of brighter sienna. And a lovely point on it. Oh, I've got some umber and some grey. Bit of shadow in there. Not really happy with that, but it's there, so I'll make a bigger, warmer tree here. Right, okay. While that's drying off, I'm going to do some bit of calligraphy and put some base in along here, just some bushy stuff. Bit of greeny, blue, grey, try and get rid of the rigor for this for a minute. So I won't add to the detail that I put in with the pen on the trees, but we can put a little bit of ivy in here. I think it was Ed that mentioned the ivy. Where he is, I can't remember where he lives, but what part of the world, I think it's America, but where he lives, it doesn't seem to see ivy on oak trees and other trees, but we get loads of it. It grows up over everything. Right, let's get a bit more darker. Put this here, let's. Well, I'm quite liking that. Let's darken up this bank a little bit now with some darker green. Carries a lot of water. This like the hake. Right, keep the dark in the foreground, the warm colours. Right, let's put a bit of fencing or something. See how impressionist you have to be with the big brushes, like the hake. You can't fiddle. You can't fiddle with it. Now we'll do a bit of dry brush on that. Right, I'm going to let that go now. I quite like that. I love that and that. I think that's quite good. Don't like that, but we'll work on that as we practice. I'm going to put it in a mount and have a look. Less is more. Just because it's in a photograph, it doesn't have to go in. I'm not working for a photograph. I'm just sort of basing this on many years of trying to do it. And let's say in the blue mount, or shall we? Blue mount. Of course, we've got plenty of blue. Now it looks quite a clean effort. Oops. I just raised the board up. So there. Okay, so I'm inspired by people like John Tookey. Google John Tookey, Tookey. I've got to drink my tea. I forgot that. So let's that being a little bit of shadow. So we do that a little bit darker. Bit of. And then we're going a little bit of dark for the windows and the door. Well, no, that would be quite dark in there. That's real shadow there. Alright, let's just get a bit of. Alright, I'll sign it. I'll put a couple of birds in. Edward Wesson, books by Ron Ranson on Ted Wesson and others. A local painter to me, well, fairly local, was about 20 miles away, Guildford and Sheer in Surrey. Wonderful painter. I remember seeing one of his last demonstrations at my art group before he died. And Roland Hilder, another wonderful English watercolourist, probably the best of the lot. Right, okay, that's it. I'm not doing any more to it than that. Well, I am actually. I forgot to put that in, so I'm going to do that. So that is going to come up from here. So let's just get up here. Got a bit thick. So this is supposed to be ivy climbing all over the trunks. Right. Anything else? Yeah, a little. I wasn't going to do any of this, was I? Let's put some shadow in. Quite delicate. Right, okay. What do you reckon? That is very sketchy, I know, but it is a sketch. It's not a masterpiece. It wasn't designed to be a masterpiece. It was designed to try to show a lot as simply as possible. Let's go into that. I'm not showing the reflections in a fast moving bit of water other than the local ones here. I don't show any of that. So there we are. That's a sort of a John Tookie-ish type. Well, I wouldn't flatter myself. John Tookie is a wonderful artist. But thanks for watching anyway. I hope you enjoyed that. Bye bye.